Extraterrestrials are revealing for the first time to the human race secrets of manifestation from 5D into 3D. Hi, this is Mahadeva the Thunder Wizard, and this is the thunderwizard.com YouTube channel where I give you practical, hands-on methods that you can use to completely transform yourself. And we are moving towards manifesting ourselves into what we call 5D. And I'm going to share with you in this video, probably the first of many, the hidden secrets of manifesting in 3D from the fifth dimension. And to understand that, we need to understand how the third dimension manifests to begin with. So before I go any further, as I said, this channel is here to give you practical tools. The most powerful practical tool for the average person watching here is going to be the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. And that you can go to thunderwizard.com, scroll around and subscribe. You can unsubscribe whenever you want. You'll get access to members-only videos, which will teach you the most powerful energy practice in the history of the planet. And this will give you a connection to your ability, as well as giving you a connection to interdimensional meditation. And I will be sharing with you how to use your interdimensional meditation skills to accomplish this secret of manifestation that extraterrestrials have known, and now human beings are finally ready. That's the message that I've been given, is that human beings are finally ready to begin manifesting from the same place that higher dimensional beings of light exist. So in order to understand this, we actually need to go back to 3D quantum physics. It's very important. I hope that those of you who want to really be successful in a lot of the things that we're teaching and really want to be ahead of the curve in terms of the shift that is coming to our planet right now, I hope that you are educating yourself. I'm educating myself and I'm researching, just about every day. And in fact, in the description, I'm going to leave a link to a physicist talking about this very important experiment, the double-slit experiment. I won't get into, I'm not going to analyze that experiment in depth. I want you to educate yourself. Watch the video link so you'll understand what I'm talking about. But we are going to talk about it. So you've heard of this double-slit experiment. And it's a very old experiment that has been repeated many times in many different ways. But you've heard the phrase, is light a particle or a wave? Or is it both? And so there's this double slit experiment, which was designed to prove one way or the other. Is light a particle or a wave? And what they found is that light acts like either or both, depending on the intention of the observer. But in this video, I want to talk to you about the double slit experiment that is done with atoms as opposed to light. So atoms are one of the smallest fundamental particles of manifested matter. Matter meaning physical stuff. So you can do this, I don't understand how, but apparently you can create a little gun that shoots out one atom at a time. How they come up with that, I have no idea. And you shoot them, you get a barrier and you put a slit in there, and then you put a detector on the back so that every time an atom hits it, it creates a point of light, right? So the assumption behind the experiment is that atoms are individual particles of matter. And so they should act like individual particles of matter. So what ends up happening is, if you have these two slits, the idea is, you can shoot them through one slit or shoot them through another. In any case, bottom line is they should reveal themselves as little bits of matter, and there should be a clear line through the slits. Now, if the energy coming through is a wave, it's going to hit and create a completely different pattern on the back of the paper or whatever that is recording it. So what's interesting about this experiment is that a couple of things. One is, if you shoot one atom at a time, it leaves a pattern that would be consistent with tiny pieces of matter. So then you would go, yes, see, this is a particle. So atoms are tiny little pieces of matter, and they act like a particle. But when you shoot a bunch of atoms through the slits, it turns into a pattern that can only be done by a wave. And so it doesn't make any sense. So then what scientists did is they start the experiment all over again. They have the two slits, and you can watch it. And they have a detector, so that there's as the atom comes through, the detector will beep every time an atom comes through. And so as long as you are monitoring the atoms, they act like pieces of matter. They act like individual particles if you monitor them. Now, according to this physicist, they would set up the little monitor that's supposed to view and beep every time an atom comes through. And they were trying to fool the atoms. What's interesting is that they're already treating the atoms as though the atoms have consciousness. They don't even address that. They don't even address that atoms have consciousness, but they treat atoms as though they have consciousness. We're talking matter, physical matter. They become shamans, and they know that if they set up a detector that will beep every time an atom passes in front of it, when they do that, they know that the atoms will act like particles. And so they decided that they were going to keep the detector there, but they were going to unplug it. But then they try and fool the atoms, and they act as though they're going to run the experiment again. They don't verbally say anything out loud, like, the atoms have ears. They're not going to say anything out loud, but they're going to unplug the detector in the hopes that the atoms will then continue to act like particles. But the moment that you unplug the detector, the moment that you do that, the atoms then go back to being a wave. Now, it's important to understand that this is impossible according to our experience of three-dimensional matter. I'm touching my laptop. It's a physical object. Here's my flute. It's a physical object. Our experience is this is made of a bunch of particles. This is not a wave. This is not a manifestation of waves of conscious energy. It's a thing. That's our experience. But what this experiment proves is that physical matter made up of atoms is actually part of a wave of energy. And this wave of energy will manifest as physical particles if you are observing it, and if you have an intention. If you intend for that wave of energy to manifest in a particular way, it will do that. So, I mean, quantum physicists are just, their intellect is going crazy trying to figure out, how do these atoms work? Why do they behave this way? And they're not bothering to step back enough to go, oh, this is a conscious wave of energy. Our physical reality is not a fixed particle. It is a conscious wave of energy that morphs itself into something that we experience as a physical reality. But it isn't. It's it's only an illusion. Now, to get into this, I have to share with you, now that I'm sitting here, it's finally making sense to me. What my ET friends showed me about the nature of time. Let me just tell you what they told me, and then they showed it to me. It didn't make any sense, but now it makes perfect sense. They said to me that time does not move from past to future. Time actually moves backwards, goes from the future to the past. But you are in one spot. You are in a timeless present moment. And what happens is time flows through you going backwards, which gives you the experience that you're going forward through time. Can you see that? And what they showed me was like a ball, a spinning ball that was spinning backwards. And we were on the ball like we had roller skates on, and we were just sitting there in one spot, but the ball was rolling backwards, and we have this feeling that we're moving forward, and time is flowing through us from future to past. And so what that means is that our reality, now that's just time, but then you have three-dimensional space. And as I've been telling you, three-dimensional space is, without time, you can't move through three-dimensional space. You'd be stuck. Like this two-dimensional picture, you'd be stuck in one spot. So time creates space, which allows you to move, and your experience is that you are flowing from past to future. And it feels to you like it is that is a thing, like time is a moving thing. This is why we want to know what's going to happen in the future. What is my destiny? We think time happens to us, but it doesn't. It is every single nanosecond. Imagine again, like in the experiment, if you don't tell the atoms what to do, they always manifest like a wave, which should be impossible because they should be little particles. But all that's happening is that you take one slice of a nanosecond of time, one moment of time, you have this wave going through, and what's happening is that wave is going through and hitting the detector, the paper that detects it. And so the wave is coming through and hitting, and you see one little spot. But you're only looking at one slice of a moment. If you were to put all the moments together, you would see that there's actually this wave that goes through, and it's hitting there. So your reality is a wave. It's not a fixed physical reality. And as we've seen, matter, the physical stuff that creates every single moment that you walk through. Do you get that? So I'm sitting here in this room in my house that I'm renting right now. And if I wake up in the morning, the house is going to be exactly the same. In another 5 years, the house will be exactly the same, but it will have aged a little bit. So the assumption is that the house is real and it is concrete and it does not change. It's a real thing, but it's not. It is a wave of energy that is manifesting in a very specific fashion based on the intention of the people who built the house, as well as the intention of the people who are living in it. It is my intention that this house stays exactly the way that it is, because I don't want it to disappear and turn into something else. So all of the waves of energy that are coming through this moment in 3D, they manifest, in one slice after another. And then you have this like film strip. You have this slideshow of reality repeating itself, recreating itself identically every single nanosecond. You got that? But if we weren't here observing it and intending it to be reality, it would stop being reality. It would stop being concrete, physical. It would go back to being a wave. So it also means that physical reality, what we perceive as these particles of physical reality, this wave has awareness. It is conscious. And more so than that, it does not have any agenda on how it manifests. It is literally here to manifest according to your intention. And it doesn't matter whether you are conscious of this intention or not. The guys that do these experiments have an assumption that atoms are little tiny round pieces of matter, not actually wave, a line in a wave. So imagine, the atom is flowing and it's this big line, it's this big wave of energy that's coming through and it hits. But it's hitting the paper and we experience it. You measure it in every moment. You're going to measure a little round piece of, infinitesimally small matter. But that round piece is actually a point of a line. Got that? Can you see that? So that energy wave has no agenda about what it's going to be. Now, if you have an assumption, so now we go back to, we're linking things together. If you're not up to date, go back and watch some of the recent videos, especially the 6 phases of ascension. Not a lot of people are watching that. They'll watch some of the more outlandish titles that I have, but go back and watch that series that I put up there of the 6 phases of intention. Of ascension. So you understand more about where we are. I forgot what I was saying. In any case, matter does not have an agenda as to how it will manifest. It will manifest based on your assumptions. So your base assumptions you're not even aware of. These are beliefs that you have about reality that are hardwired into you. If you believe that you live in a cold, cruel universe, now you understand. Guess what happens? That wave of energy goes through you as time is coming through you, and that wave of energy goes through you. It is then going to be filtered based on your assumption. If you believe that the universe is a cold, cruel place, and you solidify that belief through your actions. You act out of fear, you act out of greed, you act out of insecurity, you act out of a need to be loved and approved because you assume that you're not lovable. These are all assumptions that are in your unconscious. So your unconscious mind is like that detector. The detector that is set up to detect little particles, little atoms. When the detector is set up, the detector is the manifestation of the assumption of the scientists who assume that atoms are little tiny round little pieces of matter going through. And with that assumption, the atoms don't have to think it out. They just respond directly to the unconscious assumption. So that's why putting up the detector makes the atoms act completely differently. When you take the detector away, the atoms no longer respond that way because they know that there isn't an assumption hanging over them. So they just go back to their normal state of being a wave of conscious energy, waiting to be told how to manifest. All right, so you understand that, right? Now, how do we turn that into, how do I change my reality? So let me be clear about what I'm about to tell you. We have now entered into a phase where human beings no longer need to try and manifest things, right? If you watch any video, even many videos on my channel about manifestation, you're going to hear videos about how to manifest money. Now, bear in mind, as I've been telling you, money doesn't exist. It's just a concept. It literally does not exist in reality. It's just a concept that we agree on. And as I said, people die over this concept that doesn't exist. It doesn't have any physical reality, nor does it have any energetic reality. It is just a complete intellectual concept. But when you look at law of attraction videos and how to manifest, they're always going to be focused on you manifesting things inside of 3D reality. And that is only what somebody does who is bound by three-dimensional reality. So you can do that. You can manifest abundance, you can manifest love, you can manifest health, you can do all that. Feel free, by all means. But what if you could go beyond that and actually change the structure of your physical reality? Change the entire structure of it. And this is the revolution, the interdimensional revolution that we are talking about. Is we are going to create a reality where human beings, their entire being vibrates on a higher level. That the wave of matter that is manifesting based on our observation and our unconscious assumptions, that is going to rise up to another level. And in that level, we will be able to interact with the consciousness of matter, which is really just a wave of energy. And when we consciously interact with it, it will alter itself. Just as it does for the scientists who say atoms must be tiny particles of matter. And when the scientist does that and goes to measure that, the wave of energy goes, oh, hey guys, it's time to act like we're little tiny pieces of matter. And so it does that. Why? Because the humans want that. Now, what does that tell you? It tells you that human beings are treated like the master creators of the universe. It means that the energy, the waves of energy that come through our three-dimensional reality, where we're staying in one spot, but time is flowing back through us, and we're running into these, continuous waves, slices of manifested realities as that energy flows through us, hits our understanding and then manifests physically every single second. You know, this plastic flute right here, because I have a deep assumption about what it is. Every single nanosecond, it stays the same. It hasn't changed. If I were committed enough, and I had a strong enough agenda to have this change and morph into a snake, back into a flute, to a snake, flute, sort of like Moses, it would do that. Now, I don't have a deep enough agenda, and my assumption is so deep that it's a piece of plastic and that I like this flute exactly the way that it is. You know, I don't want it to change, because then I wouldn't be able to play it and enjoy it. So in order for me to if I needed to change that, I would need to leave my three-dimensional self. So I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you. Maybe we'll go back and piece it together, but do you understand where I'm coming from? Our three-dimensional reality, while we are in our three-dimensional selves, is a wave of conscious energy that creates for us what we intend on a deeply unconscious level based on our assumptions and our intentions. Now let's go beyond that. Now let us become actual gods. Let us become the creators of the universe. Creator of the universe is outside of 3D space-time and does not have an agenda. We do, because we identify with our physical bodies, we identify with our 3D space-time existence. Our survival depends on a physical manifestation. If the physical structure of our reality started coming apart, our physical bodies would die, and we identify with our physical bodies, so we don't want it to change. So we can only create so much in that state. But if we go into the 5D, we will then be disconnected from our 3D history, our 3D character, and then without agenda, we can simply intend for that wave of energy, meaning the entire 3D universe, to shift. Now, this has already happened. I don't know who did it. I haven't figured that out yet. I think it's a cooperation of humans and higher dimensional beings, perhaps from the future. But we've already changed our reality. And my favorite thing is the Mandela effect. And of the Mandela effect, you know, there's a bunch of strange things that the Mandela effect did to get our attention, like Kennedy's car going from a 4-seater to a 6-seater. There's a few others. The Black Tom incident that didn't happen, all of a sudden now becoming something. And those things are there to get people's attention, got my attention. And it actually convinced me of, you know, what I'm talking about now, the non-real aspect of our three-dimensional existence. But the biggest Mandela effect that proves to me that our reality is based solely on intention is the fact that Earth has moved 73,000 light years from where it was in 2012. In 2012, as you know, please research it so you understand the magnitude of this. In 2012, the Earth was located in the very outer edge of the Milky Way galaxy in the Sagittarius arm, the very outer edge of the galaxy, almost completely out of the galaxy. And according to the Mayans said December 21st, 2012, the Earth, the Sun, and all of the stars would go through a black hole in the center of the galaxy, and come out into a different place, and then we would be in a new world. We didn't understand what the Mayan prophecies meant, but now it makes perfect sense, because now, guess what? The Earth is no longer in the outer edge of the Sagittarius arm of the outer edge of the galaxy. It is now in the middle of the galaxy, halfway towards the center, in the Orion arm on the complete other side of the galaxy. And that just simply is impossible. So since that is a fact, you can prove that. If you research it, you will find it to be true. That was the case in 2012, and now it's in the Orion arm 2023, and there's no record, there's no place anywhere where some astrophysicist said, hey, we thought that the Earth was over there, but it's actually over here. There was never any conscious scientific discovery, but if you look at it, scientists will talk as though that's always been the case. And it hasn't. Which means that our reality is completely, totally malleable. It is a creation of somebody's mind. So I believe that the Mandela effect was done by human beings in the future, together with powerful higher dimensional beings, to send messages to us, so that we in this time of shifting would realize that reality isn't what we think it is. So one of the first things that, and you can read this in my book, Extraterrestrials Come to Earth, which you can get on Amazon, Kindle, and Audible, as well as Interdimensional Revolution. But in that book, I talk about one of the first, most mind-bending experiences I had with an interdimensional being of light, who came to me one day and very powerfully communicated to me and telepathically said, "You are a probability." And I said, okay, so are you saying that, anything is possible and I am one of infinite numbers of possibilities? And the being repeated himself. He said, "You are a probability." Repeated that to me 3 or 4 times, and there was an insistence about it and this huge energy behind it. That it was just, it was very intense. And obviously I was meant to meditate on that, and I did. But now what I'm seeing here is that not only am I a probability, but so is every single moment. Every single moment that we experience is a probability. It's not a concrete fact. So instead of focusing on little stuff, well, you can. There's nothing wrong with it. Focusing on getting more money, getting better health, getting another job, manifesting, a different house, a new car. You can do that because reality will respond to your true attachments, which is why you have to work through your unconscious blocks to be able to do that. If you're clear about that, you send out an intention, and reality, those particles of that wave of energy will manifest as different particles: a car, money, job, whatever. But now we're in a position where we can completely change reality. We can shift everything up to the next level. I have a very clear intention for what I want the earth to be. I want the earth to be a heaven. A heaven where there is no money, where there are no banks, there is no government, because there's no need. Because people will be connected and will be connected to each other with love and respect and kindness. And so if we're in a community and we want to create something, we create something. We come together and we make it happen. We don't need to have taxes to pay for this. We don't need to have police going around making sure that bad people aren't doing bad things, because it will be a place of love. And on top of that, it will be a place where we are connected to all conscious beings. We will become aware that we are surrounded by an infinite number of conscious civilizations. And we will work with them as family members. And they will help us create, new technology. We will be able to heal with our mind. We will be able to, heal the earth with our mind. We will live basically, it'll be a planet filled with conscious, loving wizards that just go around and create reality wherever they go, whatever reality they want, whatever makes them happy. And people will be so focused on enjoying their own spirit and wanting to help other people be happy that there won't be any selfishness. We won't have to worry about greed. We won't have to worry about any of it. So now I know I can go create that. But in order for that to happen, it's helpful for me if and I'm telling you this because I've been doing it, if I actually do some interdimensional meditation. So in my interdimensional meditation, I have guided interdimensional meditations on this channel. Go look for them. Please don't be lazy. Go and look for them. You'll find them. And when you energetically leave your body and you leave Earth's atmosphere, you will, I don't know what you will feel. I feel a huge amount of energy. If I were to go right now and close my eyes and imagine pulling myself out of my body, I would feel this huge, crazy rush of energy go through my whole body. And then, like when we go to the sun and we focus on sending loving energy to the earth, when I do that, the amount of energy that goes through me is it's almost unbearable. It's so intense. So I don't know what kind of experience you have, but that's the experience that I have, and that's how I know. Because when I go out and I experiment with interdimensional meditation, if there isn't any energy behind it, I kind of figure out, well, what I'm doing really isn't accomplishing anything. But if I go and do something like, fly into the center of the sun and send loving energy to the earth, and I'm filled with energy, that's the quantum field, the quantum consciousness wanting to come and flow through me so that the actual wave of energy shifts according to my intention. And so I'm doing this. I'm going out on a regular basis and I am sending my intention to completely shift Earth into that heaven that I'm telling you about. So we can do that. You want to bring the elites to their knees? Go do interdimensional meditation and send the intention that people on Earth will wake up to the lies, that people will wake up from the mainstream narrative. I've done things like where I go out and then I come back and hover over my body and I send my body healing energy, and I've healed my body of, nothing serious, but aches and pains and things like that, instantly gone. You can do interdimensional meditation and speak with the spirit of your family. If you grew up in a dysfunctional family, and even if they're still alive and they're still very dysfunctional, their spirits, their souls are still pure. You can decide to go and talk to their spirit and let go of your resentment, let go of your pain, and accept them physically exactly as they are, but on a spiritual level, tell them everything. How you were affected by their behavior so that you can release it. You can go in an interdimensional state and talk to your physical self and tell your physical self, to let go of your attachment to this storyline. There's no end to what you can do, but when you leave your body and you go outside of 3D space-time, Earth's 3D space-time, the thing to do is to, without any agitation, without any strong emotion. Just simply send the intention. I've decided that I no longer am afraid of spiders. I've decided that I now feel strongly attracted to a healthy lifestyle. I now have decided that I no longer am addicted to cigarettes. This is what I mean. You can just make these decisions very calmly in an interdimensional meditative state. And this is one of the things that our higher dimensional friends want to help us with. So you can do interdimensional meditation, and you can have, questions about, how can you teach me how to do this? Teach me how to do that? And they'll guide you toward the stuff that is important. You may won't, come to them and say, can you teach me how to have, 4 ears and 6 eyes? And they'll say, they might not want to help you with that. But if you ask the right questions that they want to help you with, they will respond. So, I didn't explain this as well as I wanted, but the main thing is that we now have the opportunity to become gods. And we have an opportunity to not only manifest petty things like money and a new job and losing 10 pounds. Nothing wrong with any of that. But instead of focusing on little details within 3D, we can go beyond 3D and completely change our 3D reality. We can change it. And if we operate from our souls and we send the intention from our souls, back to this wave of energy called planet Earth, that will morph according to your intention as you're viewing it. And if you have a calm, deeply connected assumption about what you want to see the world turn into, and you just say, the world is now this. If we're all in alignment, because the thing is, it's not going to work if you're not in alignment with your soul. If you try and go interdimensionally and you start to, decide to turn the world into you're the only man and there's a million 25-year-old bikini models, the world's not, it's not going to do that. You're not going to be able to change things based on your narcissism and your greed. But if you operate from your soul and from love, the quantum conscious field will align with you. And the more people that are aligned in intending this perfect fantasy heavenly world where there's no banks, no police, no government, no money, everybody's there for each other, and everybody has everything that they want, can manifest and create absolutely anything and everything that they need. We focus on love. We focus on creating a world where, we're so in tune with spirit that, it's a world full of people who can communicate with animals and plants and stars and manifest a beautiful world where we are able to communicate openly with higher dimensional beings from other civilizations. If enough people align with that, it will manifest, because we see that three-dimensional matter manifests based on your assumptions and your intentions. That it doesn't manifest if you're not thinking about what to turn it into. Okay? So, again, you want the petty stuff, go ahead, but let's think bigger than that. So this is kind of where we're going to start heading, and this is what I'm teaching. So, get my books, Interdimensional Revolution, Extraterrestrials Are Coming to Earth, Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. And, of course, the Warrior 90-Day Challenge, which is the most powerful energy meditative practice in the history of the human race. This will help you to work through your blocks and your assumptions. Also raise your energy level up so that you will be able to shift better. It'll help you intend your reality. And of course, the interdimensional meditation course. But I am now introducing a new apprenticeship program here at the bottom here. It's the 6-month Ascension Apprenticeship program. I'm only taking 10 initially, and it's very simple. You go to thunderwizard.com and you subscribe, and it's a month-to-month subscription. We will work together for 6 months, and you can unsubscribe whenever the hell you want. If you don't like it, you can unsubscribe. You haven't lost anything. But I'm really excited with helping you shift from 3D to 5D. I am making this shift. I am shifting on all levels. I'm still here in 3D, but this is what's happening to me is what's going to be the norm for everybody. And the question is, do you want to start doing it now, or do you want to wait until later when it's going to be perhaps more difficult to assimilate? If you're ready and you're serious, you are dead serious about making this shift, and you're willing to do whatever it takes, I suggest that you go to thunderwizard.com and subscribe to the 6-month Ascension Apprenticeship program, or just subscribe to the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. All right, so that's it for me, guys. I'm having a blast in my absolute fantasy of a world. Unbelievable the life that I'm living right now. I can't believe my life is so amazing. In any case, you can have that as well. All right, that's it for me. I wish you guys all the best, and of course I will be seeing you very soon. Take care.